What if I cry? Hi, and welcome back to Abigail's booksELF. Actually, today we're going to be Abigail's booksELF on the shelf because I'm giving you some hyper-specific book gift recommendations for, I would say, probably anyone in your life. And if you can't find anything on this list to give to someone, then just leave your very specific person in the comments and I will give you a book recommendation one-on-one. How does that sound? Fun? Okay. I'm gonna make this one quick today because if you're like me, you have procrastinated on your gift buying and you actually need to do that like right now. Like bestie, I need you to do it right now. So grab yourself a little cozy warm drink. I'm drinking some black tea because I've been feeling a little under the weather lately. Get your notepads out, get your pens out. It's time for some gift recommendations. Now I have to think of an intro. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Abigail's bookshelf where I will just do book reviews and it won't be anything more complicated than that. I'm going to break these down by genre. So first on our list is sci-fi recommendations. First book. For someone who hates their corporate job, feels dehumanized by emails, and is triggered to violence by a Teams notification sound, and would maybe, just maybe, kill someone if they had a good chance. I recommend to you The Employees by Olga Ravin. Next, for the one who thirsted way too much over Jacob Elordi's The Creature in Frankenstein, who thinks anything can be solved by a gay kiss, hey, it can, and who's always wanting to go on a road trip, and who likes a sort of grimy sci-fi aesthetic, I'm recommending to you Cascade Failure by L.M. Sagas. Also, there's a sequel, so you can get them the sequel next year. Next up is Lit Fic. So this one is for someone who thinks moving to the countryside would solve all their problems, but they don't actually have any problems. Has no idea what their spouse does for work and doesn't care. Completely incurious about what their spouse does for work. Who harbors vague animosity towards their in-laws, and who has an unnatural and freakily uncanny fearlessness towards wild animals. I recommend to you The Hole by Hiroko Oyamada. Next up, for the freak girl who has memorized Shirley Jackson paragraphs, who low-key has like really eerie tattoos of like scissors or doll parts, approaches thrift shops with the greed and covetousness of a 1920s Egyptologist, and who thinks birds are just misunderstood. I recommend to you O Caledonia by Elspeth Barker. Next up we have YA. So this one is for a K-pop fan who likes the member of the group who looks the most like a girl. I'm looking at you, Felix girls. Who thinks hungry ghosts are actually just girl bosses. Who watched the Cat's Eye documentary like it was an Attenborough piece on whales. I recommend to you Gorgeous Gruesome Faces by Linda Chang. Next up, for the Dark Academia fan who keeps a list of vocabulary words in their notes app, who feels like they prefer blondes over brunettes, who likes the aesthetics of outside but not actually being outside, I recommend to you Your Blood, My Bones by Kelly Andrew. Next up is Romantasy. For the Romantasy girly who thinks yearning is S tier, who thinks that just blowing everything up would actually solve a lot of problems, who eats tears for breakfast, hers or someone else's, store-bought is fine, I recommend to you A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Liang. For the yearner who thinks one-side jealousies count as enemies to lovers, who sketches bugs or mushrooms in their journal, who shops at Goodwill in the men's section and finds stuff that genuinely shocks you, for better or worse. I recommend A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. Next up, for fantasy fans, for the chronically pissed off, who thinks WWE would be better if it was real, who is just waiting for the day for Rhea Ripley to come out as gay, who has frankly grotesque collection of comic books, who misses the old Marvel, and who thinks The Hunger Games was like a little bit tame. I recommend to you Chain Gang All Stars by Nana Kwame Adjeze-Brenya. Such a good book. Guys, get into it. Next up, for the Skyrim girls who always marry Lydia, who had a childhood girlfriend they were codependent with, who thinks Seven by Taylor Swift is actually a gay song, who have a really obscure crafting hobby like wood burning or tufting, I recommend to you Fate's Bane by C.L. Clark. Next up is mystery. So this is for noir fans, people who hate the French, and people who think they could actually be a great private investigator. For people who like very specific and niche types of coffee or cigars or like something only someone from 1920 would buy, who hates pants, who actually likes summer, and who regrets their role in participating in the racist and colonial imperial agenda, I recommend to you Harmattan Season by Tochi Onyebuchi. For those who yearn to move to Scotland, live in a hut, and keep sheep, who would not hesitate to climb on a big hole in the ground just to see what's in there, and who think birds are not misunderstood at all, but in fact are given too much sympathy, I would recommend The Wild Hunt by Emma Seckel. And lastly, nonfiction. For the person who gets way too into those niche history reels on Instagram and like sends you like 40 of them in an evening, who's tapped into pop culture in the way a marine biologist is tapped into coral formation, who is the embodiment of that it's all connected meme, but like about the most obscure shit you've ever heard of, I recommend to them Culture, The Story of Us by Martin Puckner. And lastly, for the creative, who has a really specific behavior that is equal parts amusing and concerning, who will hit the blunt and then say the most profound thing you have ever heard about like mushrooms, who is the most freaky embodiment of those really old school drill tweets like this one, I recommend to you The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. So there you have it. There is a bunch of book recommendations for the hardest person to shop for on your list. Maybe you found a book for them. If you still have somebody on your list who you just have no idea what kind of book they would like, tell me about them in the comments, and I will give you a very specific book recommendation. And together, we will once again get through this holiday season being that bitch who only brings people books. All of the books that most people in my life own are ones that I've given to them. And every year I give them another book and they're like, oh, I didn't read the last one. And I say, I don't care, eventually you will. And I want this to be here for you when you're ready. So those are my recommendations for books that you can give away this holiday season. And I hope that you get a ton of books this Christmas too. Whichever holiday you celebrate, I hope you have a happy and warm one. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Sorry if that was incoherent.